Hello, beautiful souls. So today is a strawberry moon, the full moon in Sagittarius. So if you're noticing that you're feeling a bit, a bit of anything, then you know what to attribute it to, because we like to think that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. But maybe that's not true. So I'm going to do a little drumming as you all gather before I talk to you about how to use this energy of this full moon in Sagittarius, this strawberry moon. So I'll start by telling the same story I told today in drumming. And it's a Native American story. I don't know which tribe it comes from, but this comes from my friend Julia Griffin, who walks with the wolves. So she and I connected years ago because I do a wolf abundance ceremony. And this Saturday, I'm celebrating solstice right here with a beach walk and a wolf abundance ceremony, and then drumming the sundown. It's a powerful act, and what that does, that drumming the sundown, it drops us back into a time where long ago and remembered on our DNA is this reverence for the sun, where there were sun worshippers, the god Ra, out of Egypt, and where we acknowledge the movement of the earth, the alignment that we have with nature. So tonight, get outside, put your feet on the ground, your bare feet. Get in touch with feeling what it feels like to be on the cool grass or on the dirt, or maybe even if you're fortunate, you can be somewhere where you put your feet into the beach and listen to the waves. But today, I'm going to share, first of all, I'm going to share a story about first man and first woman. I'm Michelle. So here's how the story goes. First man and first woman had their first fight. And first woman packed up and left. She departed. Now it doesn't say why she departed, so you can embellish that for yourself. But on their first fight, she left. And after a while, first man began to miss her. He missed her by his side. And he called out to Great Spirit, "Oh, Great Spirit, help me find first woman." And Great Spirit gave him a vision. Hi, Meg. Great Spirit showed first man where first woman had gone, but she was far, far away. And so first man set out, but he couldn't catch up. So he asked for more help, and the sun brought out the strawberries. And this full moon is called the strawberry moon because of this correlation. So there's first woman enjoying strawberries, sitting and picking and enjoying, and first man catches up. And she, because of the sweetness, because of the beauty, because of the smell, because of the taste, because of strawberries, she forgot her anger. And she shared her sweet and precious gift with first man. And first man remembered the sweetness of their union. And in that moment, they vowed to be together. They vowed to work it out. They vowed to resolve their conflicts. So tonight, at this strawberry full moon, there's a lot going on astrologically. So get outside, look up. And if you have the ability to go get yourself some strawberries, then go get yourself some strawberries. I have a strawberry patch. It's overgrown with buttercups, but I'm going to go out there after this, and I'm going to find this sweetness that sometimes results from conflict. Hi, Michelle. So, the reason that this full moon is called the strawberry moon is because of that Native American legend where first man and first woman sat and enjoyed the sweetness of the strawberry after their first bite. So, how can you use that lesson? How can you learn the lesson of sweetness after conflict? You know, we all do that. What do we say? That make-up sex is the best sex, and resolving things, putting them into perspective, and being able to speak our truth to one another with no shame, no blame, and no guilt. So let me tell you the other things that are going on in this full moon. It's a strong forecast for powerful energy. And this information comes to me from Julia Griffin, who walks with wolves. So Mercury is about communication, and its alignment with the astrological sign of Gemini creates clear communication. It speeds up your thought. It clears your mind. It adds the Venus as part of this, you know, the making up, the sitting, the talking, the sharing the love, the sharing the strawberries is all about the idea that you can resolve conflicts, that you can share the sweetness, even though what you've done is had a fight with someone. And sometimes it's an internal fight. So tonight, use this sweet energy. Hi, Jackie. Use this sweet energy of the full moon in Sagittarius, this strawberry moon that has this sweet story that goes with it, to clear up anything in your mind, to make yourself calm and relaxed, and plan to meditate, make plans to relate to positive change, and enjoy the sweetness of early summer. And, you know, today is a beautiful day here in the Pacific Northwest. So this evening, spend some time outside and allow yourself to feel temporarily like you're not clouded, temporarily like you're not confused, temporarily like you're illuminating all of this energy so that you can use this sweetness of this powerful moon to clear your mind, to speed up your thoughts, to communicate in a way that lines you up with your desires. So it also says, call on the inner self by meditating, taking action in the direction of immediate plans, and ask for clarity. So this evening, the way that I ask for clarity is by using a constant rhythmic drum beat. And it puts the brain into a theta state. And in that theta state, you have the ability to ask for clarity. You have the ability to ask for direction. You have the ability to ask what action is right for me right now. you can use this energy to seek clarity about your financial plans. Use the strength developed from the hard work that you've done so far this year as we come closer and closer to summer solstice. Make an effort to overcome your insecurities and your limitations, which allows you to easily then create what you want. And when you become clear, when you clear away the confusion, when you set your sights on something, when you move in that direction without knowing what the next step is, but you move forward, the universe begins to align with your actions because you put them into play. Alter your perception. So one of the ways that we can do this, a really super simple way, and this comes from watching this movie called Under the Tuscan Sun, where she's sitting there. She has a bottle of wine in front of her and a wine glass, and she's got her head on the table, and she's closing one eye, and then she's closing the other eye, and she's closing one eye and the other eye. And the camera picks up the difference in perception with the one eye and the other eye. So for yourself, using your two eyes, take a step to the right. So go out, look up at the moon, and then take a step to the right. And watch what happens when you take that one little step. And then come back to where you were before. Let's call this center. And then take a step to the left. What you'll find in this is that your perception changes. And as your perception changes, your action also changes. Because when you see something differently, you have the ability to respond in a different way. So switch up your perception. Use this powerful, potent strawberry moon to shift your perspective. And as a matter of fact, what you also can do is you can go, you see the circle behind me, the drum head? You can actually go and move yourself 45 degrees from here to there. And then see what looks different to you. And as it's illuminated by this big, beautiful strawberry moon, which is about taking action, things that you're in conflict with, move away from them. So there's a motorcycle zipping past. I love when the universe matches what I'm putting out into the world. So allow this full moon, this strawberry full moon, where there's the sweetness of the fruit, where in the legend of the first man and the first woman that I talked about just a few minutes ago, where they had a conflict, they had a fight. Well, first woman moved away out of that. First man stayed. And it wasn't until he noticed that he was missing first woman, that he began to take the steps. So she moved away from the conflict. He stayed there, but it took him a while to actually miss her and then take action. So don't be like first man. Be more like first woman. Move away from the conflict. Have a look then when you have that distance to reflect back. Where are there conflicts that you can easily resolve right now? Well, most of them start internally with our itty bitty shitty committee. And then we're in conflict because we say we want that, and they say you can only have this. And then when it starts this internal dialogue of what you believe you can allow yourself to have. So as that internal dialogue is happening, often there's no movement. So when the internal dialogue happens, put on some music, go get some strawberries, take action and move it out of your body. Because as the conflict stays inside, it causes irritation. You know, have you ever had something happen and days later you're still ruminating on it, you're still going back? I call this rehashing. We rehash a lot. We have something happened and days later we're going over it and over it and over it again. We're rehashing it. And as a matter of fact, being human and two-legged, what we often do is not only do we rehash it for a few days, but years later, we're still stuck in the same story, going over and over and over this conflict that is done years ago. But we're still rehashing. We're still ruminating on it. We're still pulling it apart. So when you find yourself in conflict, move away. So what I say is that when I'm doing something, it's got to be fun. If I find myself doing it and it isn't fun, I change my attitude. And if changing my attitude doesn't work, then I change my location. That's exactly what First Woman did. When she and First Man had a fight, she changed her location. She got a different perspective. She found the sweetness in life. She found strawberries. She tasted one. She thought it was delicious and so sweet and so juicy that she sat down and she began to pick more strawberries. She ate some, she put some in her little basket, in her shirt. And when First Man showed up, she was sharing the sweetness. So how can you use this little simple story in your own life? When you're in internal conflict, take a walk. Find some sweetness, whether it's looking at the flowers that you're noticing on your walk, or whether it is actually going and finding something sweet to eat. And then reflect back on what it is that you're in conflict about, and use the power of this amazing full moon that's happening tonight to really heal your old wounds. Change up your old patterns. If you notice that you're doing something habitually, and one of the best ways to do this, changing your patterns, is first thing in the morning. All of us have a morning routine. So tomorrow morning, switch up your routine. Do something different. If you normally get up and the first thing that you do is have coffee, well, perhaps tomorrow morning, the first thing that you can do is squeeze a little lemon in your water, add a little honey, and drink that first. Switch it up. Just that alteration, just that itty bitty shift in, oh, instead of doing this, I'm going to do this other thing. It begins to alter the way that you see things. And the way that you see things, because you think what you see is real, begins to alter the way that you experience it. And we have this idea that what we see is real. So I'm going to show you my real drum. See my real drum? Okay, First Nations out of Canada from 1999. It is no longer round. It started out round, but over the decades, it's no longer round. So but when we look at it, first of all, we go, oh yeah, that's a round drum. But the closer we study it, we see that that isn't the truth of it. Excuse me. what we see is that over time it has changed. It has morphed. It has warped. So use this full moon to look at, where have you changed? Where have you morphed? Where are you not like you were 1 year ago? 1 year ago at the strawberry moon. It happens every year. So 1 year ago, where were you? And then take a moment with this powerful influence of communication speeding up, thoughts speeding up, of being able to call on your inner self by meditating, by taking action in the direction, immediate action. What they say in the marketing world is fast, imperfect action. It doesn't have to be a perfect action for it to be immediate. When you take immediate action, the universe goes, wow, so she's like serious about this. And it begins to respond in a way that matches your action. So maybe the result that you get isn't perfect the first time. But you know what? There are 13 full moons in a year. 13. So you get 13 times of illuminating what's right in front of you to practice. You don't need to get it right to get it perfect. Heal the old patterns of thinking that, oh, I have to get this right before I can take action. Oh, I need to think this through. Begin to be sensing with your heart and not the 3 pounds in your brain. Begin to feel your way through this particular amazing full moon tonight, illuminating down on that Sagittarius energy, because Sagittarius is all about adventure. I just happen to be Cancerian. My birthday's at the end of the month, but my moon and my rising sun sign are both in Sagittarius. So I nest and then I go. So this powerful moon that we have tonight is about the action. Sagittarius is not the centaur, and it's not the bow, it is the arrow. And so, if you've ever shot an arrow, if you've ever pulled back on the bow, that you don't always hit the target the first time. But we've made up a story, and we live out of this story. Oh, I have to get it right. Oh, if it's not perfect, I don't want to do it. No, I was just out in the garden weeding and making a path so that we can drum the sun down on Saturday. So I'm out there, I'm pulling up weeds, I'm weed whacking, and then I look and oh, it's time to be here. So I didn't stop myself until I looked perfect. I showed up imperfectly, because the more I practice, the more I'm here, the more joy I spread, the more love, the more acceptance I have of myself. Oh, I'm just running in from the garden. The more we're all going to be able to know that whatever action we take, when we're in right alignment, with our heart, let your head follow. Let your head follow your heart. So use this particular beautiful time where we're illuminating these things, where we have the ability to break old patterns, to shift them up, to heal old wounds, to find your joy. Put your feet on the ground, barefooted on the ground tonight. Allow yourself to stand, illuminated by the moon tonight. And what action is right for you? Well, it might be that you lay flat down on the ground and just let the moonbeams wash over you. It might be that you come in the house and make tea. There are all kinds of actions that you can take. But with this illumination of this adventuresome spirit that Sagittarius is, and that we have this ability to be able to take substantial steps on the spiritual plane and substantial steps on the physical, then sit in the moonbeams from God. Take a little moment and just sit cross-legged, if you can. Otherwise, sit in a chair and get outside and allow yourself to be in the moonbeams, to allow your spirit to take imperfect action. So now I'm going to see if I can do this, because I want you to see the imperfect action that is available to all of us. And let me see if I can, I can do this. So there we go. This is where we are. This is what's going on right here. Look how far up in the sky the sun is, if you could see that. And it's still got a couple of hours to go before sunset. So prepare yourself. Get something sweet to eat after you've been out there bathing in the moonbeams. Use this potent energy and the energy of the story of first man and first woman. Take it into your heart. Resolve. I don't like that word because it means to solve again. So resolutions are resolutions. So instead of resolving something, just flat out solve it. So that tomorrow when you get up and you shift up that energy, and maybe you just do something different. Maybe instead of getting your tea and going outside, you go outside first and get your tea second. Shift the energy up. It just takes a small imperfect action to shift your attitude, to heal your old patterns, to break them up. And if there was ever a time to break up old paradigms, to shift up your thinking, today's the day. So, lovelies, oops, everything's a little wobbly. All right. And also, just stop taking yourself so seriously. To be enlightened means to be light, enlightenment. So as you embrace that, know that the world keeps turning. The universe keeps spinning. We think we're very important. We think that, if I do this, bad things will happen, big bad things will happen. But, when you start looking up at the stars, you sit out there tonight under the beam of the full moon and you look up at the stars, you'll realize that you're just one star in the entire universe. So don't take yourself so seriously. Play, laugh, find your joy, heal your old wounds, find your passion, and share your joy. And never, ever, ever, never stop yourself from speaking your truth. Check in with your heart. And by the time first man caught up with first woman and they shared strawberries, she forgot her anger. So is it okay for you to forget your anger? Is it okay for you to put it aside? Is it okay for you to stop judging yourself and others and just be in the isness of it all? So I hope this is informative. I hope you use this information today. Don't wait. You can still be under the influence of the full moon for a couple, 3 days. But today, put this into play. And when you find yourself saying something like, I'm working on this. I talk to a lot of people and they're working on healing things and they're working on moving and they're working on changing their patterns. It's like chiseling away stone. dance with your pattern. When you start dancing with your patterns, when you start singing with your wounds, then magic happens. And speaking of magic, I'm doing a spiritual manifestation masterclass tomorrow evening at 7. So I'll put the link in here. And go ahead and join me, and let's learn about how to manifest, how to use this energy of the full moon, of this full strawberry moon, to manifest absolutely anything with no shame, no blame, and no guilt. You're not selfish if you have a desire. You're not greedy if you want more, because there's always more. There's always more improvement. There's always more joy. There's always more laughter. There's always more music. So be in that for the rest of the evening. Enjoy yourself. Open your heart to receive and give as much love as you can. Just beam your heart out 360 degrees. All right, lovelies. Thank you so much. And masterclass tomorrow evening, and I'll see you on drumming during the day. All right, lovelies. Bye-bye. Have a fabulous rest of your day.